You know someone like this. Maybe you are someone like this. The person everyone calls when something breaks, when a situation falls apart, when nobody else knows what to do. They show up, they assess, they fix, and they're good at it. Genuinely, remarkably good at it. But here's what almost nobody asks. Why do they need to be? Knowing how to fix things looks like competence from the outside, and it is competence. That part is real, but psychology tells us that in many people, the compulsion to fix isn't just a skill, it's a coping mechanism, a way of managing a world that once felt dangerously out of control. And once you see that, you start to understand why fixers often can't stop, why they feel anxious when there's nothing to solve, why they struggle to ask for help themselves, and why, despite fixing everything around them, they often feel quietly exhausted. Here's the psychological foundation. Many people who become fixers grew up in environments where things were unpredictable, not necessarily dramatic, not always crisis, sometimes just a parent whose moods were hard to read, a home where tension was always present but never addressed, a family where problems were ignored until they became emergencies. In those environments, children learn one of two responses. Some shut down, some lean in, and become the person who solves problems before they escalate. Psychologists call this a control-oriented coping style. The child who cannot control the emotional weather of their home learns to control the practical variables instead. Fix the thing that's broken, solve the problem that's building, manage the situation before it becomes a crisis. It works, and it works so well that it becomes the default. The fixer doesn't just know how to fix things. They need to, because fixing is the only context in which they feel genuinely safe. Here's the layer that makes it personal. For many fixers, their sense of self-worth is deeply tied to being needed, not loved for who they are, valued for what they do. Psychologists call this conditional self-worth, a sense of personal value that depends not on existing, but on performing. And fixing is the perfect performance. It's visible, it's measurable, it produces immediate, clear results. When you fix something, you know you've succeeded. The problem is gone. The person is grateful. You are, for that moment, unambiguously valuable. This is why fixers often find it genuinely difficult to rest. Rest produces nothing. Rest provides no evidence of worth. And for someone whose worth has always been tied to output, stillness feels dangerously close to worthlessness. Here's what the fixer rarely says out loud. It's exhausting. Not the fixing itself. They're usually good at that. It's the weight of being the person everyone calls, the assumption that they'll handle it, the way their competence becomes a kind of cage. Because once you've established yourself as the one who fixes things, people stop trying to fix things themselves. Psychologists call this the competence trap. The more capable you are, the more you're relied upon. The more you're relied upon, the more essential you become. The more essential you become, the less space there is to not be capable. And underneath all of this, there's often a quiet, unspoken question. What happens if I need help? Because fixers rarely ask, not because they're too proud, but because they genuinely don't know how. They learn to need nothing, to handle everything, to be the solution. Needing help, real help, not just information, is a skill they were never taught and never practiced. So here's what we know about people who know how to fix everything. They are genuinely capable. That's not performance, that's real. But beneath the capability, a control response built in an environment that felt unsafe, a self-worth conditional on usefulness, and a competence that became a system nobody, including themselves, knows how to turn off. If you're a fixer, this is not a diagnosis. It's a description of something you built for very good reasons. The same skills that made you invaluable to everyone around you started as a child's attempt to make an unpredictable world feel manageable. That child was resourceful, intelligent, adaptive, and they deserve, at some point, to be in a situation where fixing isn't required, where just being is enough. The next time you notice yourself reaching for a solution before anyone has even asked for one, pause for just a moment. Not to stop being helpful, but to ask, is this something I genuinely want to do? Or is this the part of me that still doesn't feel safe unless something is being fixed? Both answers are valid. Both answers are worth knowing. If this video describes someone you know, or someone you are, Share it with them. And subscribe, because every week we take a behavior, a psychology, a thing about being human that nobody explains, and show you exactly what's happening inside the brain that creates it.